Hello and welcome to The Calling. I'm your host, Connor Coman. Here on The Calling, we're going to be providing valuable skills, information, and mentorship that is going to equip you for the years ahead. This world around us is changing radically right in front of our eyes, and it's happening very fast. Technologically, culturally, educationally, politically, we're seeing major shifts take place in this earth right now. In this process of change, there are many people out there who are being called higher. And what I mean by that, I've come across many people, and these conversations have given me the idea to make this podcast. But people are hearing and feeling and sensing this inner voice within themselves, calling them to rise with the tide. There's a new generation of leaders that are being called to step up and lead in this time. And that might mean to lead your family, to lead your children, to lead in your community, now even lead the world with the power of social media, or maybe it's just to lead yourself to a better life. And if that's you and you're feeling this call to grow, then this is going to be a place where you can come and learn and grow with me, with the guests we bring onto this podcast, and with all the others that are out there that are also feeling this calling. So again, welcome, thanks for joining, and enjoy today's episode. Welcome to The Calling. On today's show, we're going to be talking about something very powerful. This is something that has the opportunity to change your life, and I know because it has absolutely changed my life. On today's show, we're going to be talking about entrepreneurship. We're actually filming this episode in the month of November, which is National Entrepreneurship Month. So I just want to give a special shout out to all the entrepreneurs out there who are going out there, building something, taking the hits, and making things happen. On today's episode, we're going to talk about a couple different things when it comes to entrepreneurship. First and foremost, what it is. What does it mean to be an entrepreneur? We're going to look at the pros and the cons of stepping into this position. We're going to talk about why today it is now easier than it's ever been to be an entrepreneur. And we're going to talk about why you might want to consider getting into this position. And now you may be watching this episode and thinking, I have no interest in being an entrepreneur. I have no desire to step into that world. I'm happy with my job, content with what I'm doing. And if that's you, first of all, I'm very happy for you. Second of all, this is still for you. This is information that will be able to benefit you, or if not you, then someone you may know. So let's dive right into it. Let's define entrepreneurship and get a look at the mindset of an entrepreneur. First and foremost, an entrepreneur is one who owns and operates a business. I got my first experience or lesson as an entrepreneur as a 7th grader. Back in 7th grade was when Lance Armstrong was doing his Tour de France and having his comeback story. And he came out with, if you remember, these yellow bracelets. And they were called Live Strong bracelets. They said Live Strong on them. And so I wore one to school one day. And I had a guy come up to me. And he was like, that's so cool. I want one. Where'd you get it? So I went and got a couple. Came and back to school and gave it to him. And of course, he gave me the money for it. And then over time, everyone in school was like, where'd you get those? And then one day I was in a baseball card store as a kid that I would go to. And they had a bunch of different bracelets with different sayings on them. There was a blue one that said courage, a red one that said hope, pink ones, all different color bracelets with all different words on them. And I started wearing those to school. And soon enough, a bunch of kids at school were coming up to me saying, I want this one, I want that one. So what I did, I went over to the baseball card store, picked up a whole batch of these bracelets, brought them to school, and I was basically a bracelet dealer. I was selling these bracelets to all the kids, making a bunch of money because I would sell them for a little more than what I was buying them for at the store. Now, this business only lasted about a day or two. The school found out and told me I could not sell these bracelets. But I learned a valuable lesson in that experience, is that if I see that a bunch of people want and need something, and I have access to what they want and need, I can be the one to provide this for them, and I can make money in the process servicing this need. So entrepreneurship really comes down to one thing: ownership. Most wealthy people you see out there, maybe some you know, people you see on TV, they're business owners. They own their income. They own the opportunity that they're a part of. Because being in this position of entrepreneur, of owner, offers you many benefits that you don't get elsewhere. Here's a few. Number one is massive income opportunity. You can make way more money when you actually own your business or own your income. You also have an opportunity to control your time. You have more freedom and flexibility, which a lot of people want to have nowadays. And lastly, another huge benefit to being an entrepreneur is tax write-offs. We're sitting in a studio here. I can write off on my taxes this electric bill. I can write off my phone bill, the Wi-Fi. If I need to drive somewhere, I can write off my gas mileage. all because it has to do with the business that I'm a part of. So there's many benefits to being an entrepreneur, and we're going to dive more into those, more into the mindset of an entrepreneur. But before we do that, let's look at the contrast. The opposite of being an entrepreneur is being an employee. So let's look at the mindset of an employee first before we dive into that of an entrepreneur. Many of us, most people in this country of America, were conditioned and trained through the educational system to be an employee. We're told to go to school, to get good grades so that you can get a degree, so that what? You can get a job. Now, when we go get a job, here's the mindset when we're in this employee mode, this employee thinking. It comes down to this: trading time for money. You show up, you punch in, you spend your time, you punch out, and you get paid for that time that you put in. So it's trading time for money. Maybe you do that as an employee of a company, or maybe you do that as a self-employed employee. Personal example: I worked as a personal trainer in Gold's Gym years ago. So I was an employee of Gold's Gym. They would pay me for my time that I showed up and gave. Now, time went on and I said, I want to train my clients outside this gym. I want to train them on my own so I can take more of the money. So I became a self-employed personal trainer. So I went from having a job to owning my job. However, over time, I realized that I didn't own this job. This job owned me. I still had to trade time for money. I had to show up and trade this client, whether it was in Gold's or a private gym, to get paid. I couldn't go on vacation and still get paid. So that is what being an employee all comes down to, is you're trading time for money. And again, that's where most people's mindsets are at, because that's what most people were conditioned to through the educational system. Now, the entrepreneurship mindset, on the other hand, is completely different. Entrepreneurs are not thinking, trade my time for money. Here's what entrepreneurs are thinking: run an effective system. And here's what I mean by that. Most entrepreneurs, they went through the schooling system as well, but they didn't have this mindset of get good grades, get a degree so I can get a job. They're thinking in their minds, go to school, maybe get a degree. Many entrepreneurs did not actually go to school and get degrees. However, they're not thinking about getting a job. They're thinking about creating jobs. So entrepreneurs are thinking about building and running effective business systems. So what does that mean? What is a business system? I'm going to give you an example. I'm sure everyone who's watching this has heard of or eaten at McDonald's. Now, McDonald's has one of the most powerful business systems in the world. It's simple, it's duplicatable, and that's why you see them popping up all over the world, and you don't really see McDonald's go out of business. That's why when you go into a McDonald's, it's the same system. It's the same stations. That you got the fries here, then you move on to the burger wrapping, and here's the register. For the most part, when you're going into McDonald's, everything kind of looks and feels the same. A Big Mac or nuggets are going to taste the same here than they will over in Japan, for example. Why is this? Because a business system is being run. And now when it comes to the entrepreneur, let me ask you a question. When you go into a McDonald's, do you think that the owner of that McDonald's location is inside that establishment flipping burgers, taking people's orders? Absolutely not. That owner is probably off somewhere on vacation and money is coming into his account. Why? Because there's a system being run that can basically run itself. You can plug in young kids we see at McDonald's that can go in there, learn a quick system, and it runs very effectively. So business owners are running systems, and these systems open up the door to the type of income that entrepreneurs are trying to create. And this is called passive income. Employees that go to school, get good grades, get a job, trade your time for money. That type of income that employees are bringing in is called earned income. You have to go earn it by spending your time, and then you earn the income. However, again, if you're not there, the income is not earned. Passive income, on the other hand, which is what entrepreneurs are focused on, is income that comes in regardless of if you're there or not. Again, the McDonald's owner, for an example, is not in there. However, he's still generating income. Why? Because he has a system in place that is being run. It is all about systems. So let's talk about starting a business or putting yourself in the position of entrepreneurship. Wouldn't you agree that most people would want to be in this position of business ownership, of passive income, not needing to show up to their job and having money coming in? I think everyone would want to be in a position like that, where income is just generated from a system. So the question is, why don't people put themselves in this position? Why are 95% of people in the employee section with not many people in the business ownership side? Well, number one, it's because of what we just talked about, the simple conditioning and lack of the entrepreneur mindset. A lot of people are just unaware that you can step into this world of ownership and how to do it and what the mindset is like. So the mindset is always going to be number one. But also, number two, there may be some fear there. Fear of taking this risk, fear of stepping into the unknown. And there are some very valid reasons and concerns that would arise in someone when thinking about starting a business, becoming an entrepreneur. And I want to address some of those concerns here because they're very real and, again, very valid. So here are 5 very real concerns that might be holding you back from becoming an entrepreneur, starting a business, putting yourself in this position of ownership. Number one, we have money. Starting a business is not cheap. To start a gym, I was looking at as a trainer. We're talking up to $500,000 to start a gym when it's all said and done. There's many upfront fees. You may have to take out loans, startup costs. We talked about the McDonald's example before. Opening up a McDonald's nowadays is going to run you between $1 to $2 million. So how much money do you have to invest to start up your business? Very real concern. Second would be time. Obviously, starting a business, becoming an entrepreneur is going to require time. And many people nowadays are working 40, 50 hours a week. Where does that leave any time to start a business? Third would be knowledge. Do we actually have the knowledge of becoming an entrepreneur, number one, that mindset? But also, do we have knowledge in the industry that we're trying to start a business in, to become an entrepreneur in? We have to have the knowledge. Next, we have a need. Is there a big enough market need? Do a big enough group of people out there in the world need what it is you're trying to get into when it comes to your business? There has to be a dramatic market need for you to have a successful business as an entrepreneur. And last, number 5, we have risk. Statistics say that 9 out of 10 businesses are going to fail in the first 5 years of starting. And then of those that survive, 9 out of 10 of those are going to fail in the next 5 years after that. And that's a big deal because many people take risks getting into this world of entrepreneurship. People refinance their homes. People, again, take out loans, maybe cash in retirement savings to go into business for themselves. They put a lot of risk up, and there's a high chance of it not moving forward. So risk is a very real thing when it comes to stepping into this world of entrepreneur. So keeping these 5 concerns in mind, when you're looking at an opportunity to step into entrepreneurship, you want to find something that checks all these boxes. Again, number 1 was money. Is this something that I can get into with a low barrier of entry, something with low startup costs, that it's not going to be a big hit on me financially if it doesn't end up working out? Second would be time. Is this something that I can do part-time, that I don't have to leave my job for, that I can work on my own schedule and put in the time that way? Third, when it comes to knowledge, is this something that I'm educated in? Or is there an educational system in place of training that can teach me what I need to know to grow this business? Fourth, we have the need. Is this something that people need? Is there a dramatic need for this service or this product that I want to offer? And lastly, not that you want to go in with this mindset, but heaven forbid it doesn't work out. Is this something that it will not be a big risk on you, a big loss on you if it were not to succeed and turn into what you want it to be? And here's the good news, is that today with the innovations in technology, opportunities like this that check all of these boxes and meet all of these concerns, these opportunities are popping up all over the place now, where people like you and I can step into this place of entrepreneurship. So let's talk about it. Why now? Why is it wise right now to consider stepping into entrepreneurship? It's because of the changing world. With technology, with things like artificial intelligence, the world is creating these opportunities, and this is exactly why you see kids nowadays, teenagers, young 20s, making millions and millions of dollars online with these opportunities. It is no secret that the world is becoming virtual and digital, and this is making the world smaller and more connected. We've seen the rise of what's called work from home culture. This has made a big effect in my industry, where we went from the office setting to now working from home through Zoom. Now I can meet with people from New York all the way to California in one day and anywhere in between thanks to Zoom. We've also seen this change in the retail industry. Most shopping is being done online now. You can even go online and see how a couch would look in your living room with all the technology available. So everything is shifting to online. Here's another thing that we're going to see in the next couple years is AI, artificial intelligence, augmented reality glasses. The same way that everyone nowadays has a smartphone, in the years to come, everyone is going to have these glasses, and you'll be able to be connected in that way. And now this is creating all of these things together. The working from home, the Zoom, AI, everything moving to online. This is creating an opportunity. This is an opportunity for people's needs to be met online and to be met fast. And that's where people like you and I can come in and step into that opportunity of meeting needs. Just like I stepped into the need of meeting the Livestrong bracelets. Now here are some options and examples of these opportunities that are popping up that, again, teenagers and young kids are taking advantage of and making a lot of money doing. First and foremost, we have e-commerce and dropshipping, where you can distribute products online without actually having the products in stock. We also have network marketing. With these opportunities, there's often educational systems, training, mentorship, and if there's a recruiting model attached to this opportunity, this is a way to make massive income. There's also social media. This is an opportunity to create podcasts and channels and be a content creator where you can collect ad revenue. We're also seeing people create online courses and selling those and producing great income. Another opportunity is called affiliate marketing. This is a way where you can partner with your favorite brands and then they'll give you a code. And now when people go buy that product using your code, you're going to get paid for it. Passive income. Now all of those opportunities that I just listed off, check all 5 of those boxes that we talked about earlier. Low barrier of entry. Not much time needed to put into it. The information is out there for you to gain the knowledge of what you need to do. The need for these products and opportunities is out there, and there's not much risk to it. Now here's another couple reasons why it may be wise to consider stepping into entrepreneurship in this day and age. It's because of today's economy. So whether it's with one of those opportunities we just talked about or something completely different, here's why you might want to think about taking that leap of faith. With today's economy, money is being pumped into the system at an astronomical rate that we've never seen before. You know, depending on who you look at and who you read, they say between 60 to 80% of the dollars in existence have been printed into the system in the last couple years. And here's the thing about money. Money is always moving and flowing to those who are providing value. So why not you and I step into this opportunity of entrepreneurship, become one of these people who are providing value and meeting needs, and we can attract some of this money that's being pumped into the system. And here's a final reason you may want to consider stepping into entrepreneurship in this day and age. One word that's affecting all of us right now, and that is inflation. Things right now like gas and groceries are extremely expensive. So what would an extra couple $1,000s of additional income do for you and your household? You know, having an additional income stream years ago was a good idea. However, today, because of the rising cost of goods and services, it's an absolute necessity. Now, if entrepreneurship is piquing your interest and you're considering stepping into this world, I want to give you 3 skills that you are absolutely going to need. The first one is integrity. You must be a good, decent human being that does right by people. Remember, entrepreneurship is all about meeting people's needs and providing value. Now sure, you might be able to find a way to make some quick money online nowadays. However, lasting success as an entrepreneur is going to come down to you having a good reputation and a strong character. People need to like you and trust you and to know that you're doing right by them. You must have integrity. The second skill you're going to need is commitment and work ethic. Remember, entrepreneurship is not a get-rich-quick overnight plan. This is a marathon, not a sprint. So you're going to need to be able to play the long game, to have endurance, and to move through the feelings of wanting to quit. You are especially going to need commitment and work ethic if, number 1, you're coming from the mindset of employee. You're going to have to recondition your whole mindset, and that's going to take time. Also, especially if you have to learn a new skill. Maybe you're learning distribution online, you're learning how to communicate and sell. If you need to learn a new skill, you have to give it enough time and work ethic so that you can grow and succeed. You also might want to keep this in mind, depending on what business or opportunity you're getting into to get into entrepreneurship. There may be a time, an extended period of time, where you're putting in the time, but you're not making any money. You have to be okay with that and to be willing to continue to put in the work. And last but certainly not least, the third skill that you're going to need is what I call thick skin. No one ever created anything successful or became a successful entrepreneur without haters. Yes, I will tell you right now, people are going to judge you and talk behind your back and call you crazy and tell you to quit and tell you to stop dreaming, and you cannot lose sleep over that. Entrepreneurship is going to be very, very difficult if you are addicted to the approval of other people. And this is why I personally am very passionate and grateful when it comes to entrepreneurship, is because I battled with approval addiction, caring what people thought. However, stepping into this space of entrepreneurship has liberated me from caring about what people thought. And if that's all I ever get out of entrepreneurship, that was absolutely worth it. So I'll leave you with this question. Why not you? If you find the right opportunity with the right system, or you have the right business idea, then why not go for it? What do you have to lose? I'll tell you what the risk is. It's a little bit of time and a little bit of money. So the question is it worth it to sacrifice some time and money for the chance at reaping the rewards of entrepreneurship? At the very least, it doesn't work out. Here's what you walk away with. You walk away with an experience, you walk away with probably a new skill, and you walk away with the ability to look in the mirror and say, I tried. But if it does work out, best case scenario, and you see success as an entrepreneur in this day and age, you're going to see multiple streams of passive income where you're no longer trading time for money. You're going to have a lot higher chances of becoming debt-free and financially independent. You're going to live with more of a sense of freedom and peace of mind, and you'll be able to live a life where you call the shots and no one has their thumb on you. You'll see continuous personal development where you keep becoming the next best version of yourself. You're going to grow relationships and connections with other people that are in this space building something as well. I believe, yes, it is absolutely worth it. I believe that there's evidence all around us that tells us it is possible for you. And the real question is, if not you, then who? And if not now, then when? We'll see you next time on The Calling. On next week's episode, we're going to be talking about the changes that are happening with the financial system. We're going to be talking about things like cryptocurrency, blockchain technology, fun stuff, so stay tuned. Hey, if you enjoyed today's show, be sure to like, comment, and share, subscribe to the channel, and keep an eye out for our other segment of this show. It's called Truth Understood, where we're going to dive into the Bible, we're going to understand it together, and we're going to see how the scriptures actually apply to today's world.